This video was sponsored by Kershaw Knives, creating high-quality, high-performance, exceptional working tools and knives that users are proud to carry. Use discount code ARCHERY20 for 20% off at KershawKnives.com. Hey Archery Talk, this is Lucas, and today I've got my long-term review of the Ripcord MAX Micro Arrow Rest. I actually don't normally start with price when I'm looking at products like these, but I figured this is a good place to start in this situation. At $179, the Ripcord MAX Micro that's a fairly solid price point for a flagship level drop-away arrow rest. You can get this without the micro adjust for $20 less, but I do think the $20 is well spent to get that micro adjustability. It makes life a whole lot easier. Really, you just you loosen a set screw here for the windage side, or here for the vertical side, and you can make the smallest movements you need to up and down or left and right as you see fit. And you've got a gradient scale there to show you how far you've gone for both the left, right, and up and down. And it's super easy to use. It's basically the same as any other micro adjust on any other arrow rest you ever used, but that's for $20 that is well worth investing in. Other features to have a look at on here is this overmolded plastic arm here that holds the arrows in place. What I like about this is that it's already kind of soft plastic, so your arrow is not going to rattle around in there. I have got a little bit of felt at the very bottom, but you don't really need to put any felt in there. You don't need to put any moleskin or anything like that. Your arrows are going to stay silent all of the time, just because it's fully plastic. It's fully contained. If you draw your bow back and set it down, the arm's going to stay up just like you'd want to do with most other kind of flagship level drop-away arrow rests. This Ripcord does exactly like you'd want that to do. Another feature on here is the vault lock. So if you have to make small adjustments on here, if your timing isn't quite right, you don't necessarily have to go make it at the football down here. That's where I like to kind of leave that as is or as much as I can. So here you just again loosen up a set screw, and you can either kind of pull this out this way to tighten things up, or pull it out this way to loosen things. Make very small adjustments, make a big deal here. So when I'm setting these things up, I'm moving these very small bits at a time just to see how everything is set going forward. But it makes that, I like that method a little bit easier than the football, because I don't want the football to accidentally move up and down rather than just the rope. So here you're only messing with the rope. You're not going to worry about anything, other positions changing like that, like you would if you're messing with the football. So again, super simple setup like that. I like it quite a bit. Another great feature on this rest is the double down braking system. So what that means is once this thing lets go, it does not bounce back whatsoever. So I don't have a slow-mo camera to really prove this, so I'm kind of going off what fine folks at Ripcord are telling me. But yeah, you let that go, it is not going to bounce back up and knock your arrow off or anything like that. Again, it's a simple solution, works really well on here. No complaints at all with a double down brake. One thing maybe to look out for is that if you're looking for one bow to do everything for you, if you want to go hunting with it or maybe shoot some 3D with it, and you're shooting like a larger diameter 3D arrows, they are actually not going to fit in this launcher arm. It's a fairly narrow launcher arm, so it'll work for standard size hunting arrows or micro diameter arrows, but for fat arrows they just don't fit in there. So that's my one real complaint with the way this bow was set up. You could always opt for an aftermarket kind of whale tail style, or you get another one of those from Ripcord if you want to. You're gonna have to buy it separately. But it is too narrow if you're going to run 3D arrows, or you want to use this on a target bow or anything like that. It's just not meant for that. Another thing I don't love, and this is not exclusive to Ripcord, I've had this on other rest brands as well, is that it's not super simple to launch this with just your thumb. When this thing is pressed down like that, if you can't really get your thumb in the way there without knocking your arrow. So I kind of have to hold it with the other hand and then lift up from the bottom and put it up that way. Not really my favorite way to go about it. One thing I always liked about like QAD arrow rests is that they have had the button here. That's I like that a lot. It does give something that sticks out a little bit, so there's give and take with that. But I like being able to hold my bow like this and then use my other thumb to launch that. But again, that's a super small complaint. We're trying to review products. I'm trying to find everything I can that maybe you might not know about. So that's one thing I discovered on this, and another rest I'm going to be reviewing from another brand in the near future has a very similar issue as far as that goes. When it comes to setup, this works again very similar to setting up any other drop-away arrow rest. I try to put this, the football down maybe 6 inches or so below the rest. That's a starting point for me. And then, you know, I will put this on a drawboard if you've got one handy, or kind of, and then, you know, you'll draw it back with this thing a little bit loose and kind of let the string pull itself out. And then I will, you know, tighten it. I will bring it back maybe a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, tighten it down, and then see how that looks. Basically, you want that when you're at full draw, you want these arrows to match up pretty much perfectly. If you don't, and I ran into this the very first shot, I didn't have this quite lined up, and I sheared off 2 fletchings off my first arrow the first time I shot this particular rest. That was my fault. I didn't pay close attention when I was setting it up. So avoid that yourselves. Just make sure you got those things lined up when you're at full draw. Otherwise, you're going to run into some problems. But again, it's super easy to set up. If you set up any other drop away arrow rest, you're not going to have any trouble setting up the Ripcord MAX Micro. I think that's about all I've got for you now, Archery Talk. Again, if you're interested, head over to Ripcord Archery's website. Look around for yourself. They've got several other different arrow rests. I'm going to try to review some of those in the near future as well on some other bows. But in the meantime, I think that's about all I got for you. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. It helps the channel an awful lot, and we'll see you again soon.